Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to today's math lesson. Before we begin, I'd like to make sure you have the following materials: math workbook, a pencil, a whiteboard and marker, your clock, and a red and blue crayon. All right, so if you need to get those materials, pause the video now and then come back. Okay, so today's lesson is timed to the half hour on an analog clock. Okay, so we are working on the answers for how do I determine length and time. But before we do that, we are going to do a little bit of a math warm-up. So this is where your whiteboard and marker will come in handy. Act it out to solve. Now remember, act it out could be simply drawing a picture or a math sentence. So let's read this first. Ashley's mom baked 12 muffins. Ashley ate 3 muffins. Carmen ate 2 muffins. How many muffins were eaten? So you want to know how many are left. So there are a couple different ways. We'll go over that in a moment, but figure out on your own, use the whiteboard, and then come back and we'll discuss the solution. Okay, so, excuse me, if you are not done, you can pause again to continue finishing your problem, but if you are, here we go. So we know that there were 12 muffins, okay? So we will start with a math sentence first. All right, so there were 12 muffins, okay? And we know that Ashley ate 3. So we could subtract 3. And then we know that Carmen ate 2. So we could subtract 2. And then we need to know what our answer is. Well, there's 2 different ways that we could solve this. We could first subtract, let's do this here. First, we could do 12 minus 3. Okay, what does that? That's right, we get 9. That's our difference. Then we could take the 9 because then Carmen ate 2 of the muffins. Okay, and what's 9 minus 2? That's right, 7. So the answer would be 7. The other way you could solve it is you could, let's do this one. You could, there we go. All right. You could say, all right, there were 3 plus 2 muffins equals 5. That's how many were eaten. But now you have to take the 12, subtract the 5, and then you would still get 7. Okay? Now, if you chose to draw a picture, that certainly would be okay too. You could just draw 12 circles and X out the 3 and 2 more, and you would get 7 as your solution. So this is a multi-step solution to find your answer, okay? How you go about it is perfectly okay. It's whatever you're comfortable with, but the answer is 7 muffins. Okay, so now let's go to, they would like us to write the time on the digital clock, okay? So we have said that on this side is where you put the hour and this side is the minutes, okay? Now we've also been talking about o'clock. That's a hint for when the minute hand is on the 12. So you can write this on your whiteboard, all right? But I will say that when you write a time, don't forget to put the dots, okay? So why don't you pause now and write the time for the yellow and the red clock. All right, here's your answers. The first clock is 8 o'clock, and the second is 5 o'clock. All right, good job. Okay, now, here we have a digital clock. All right, what time does the clock show? Does it show 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, or 2 o'clock? Pause and write your answer down and come back and check. It shows 1 o'clock. Good job, boys and girls. That's right. Remember, the hour is to the left of the dots. All right, so now let's look here. It says, how can you read time to the half hour on an analog clock? Now, for some of you, we talked about this. We also said that at the top is 60. All right, so that when you go halfway around, all right, remember we counted 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. All right, and I just want to show you with a line how this is halfway. I'm starting a little off, but that is halfway, okay? So right from here to here is 30 minutes, okay? It's also known as half past. So because this hour hand was on the 10 and is slowly leaving the 10, it is still 10 something, okay? So we know it would be 10, but now we have to figure out how many minutes. Does anybody remember when we counted what I said when we got to 6? What was the number of minutes? If you said 30, you are correct. When we look at an analog clock, it is 10:30 or half past 10, meaning the minute hand has gone halfway around the clock. Okay? All right, let's look at this clock. Now, this clock I like because they shaded it for us, showing it's halfway around. Cameron eats dinner at the time shown. All right, tell the time that she eats dinner and write the time. Now, let me point out to you that they have already put the label half past, meaning this minute hand has gone halfway around the clock. Half past what? Now, this is something we are going to have to work on. Before the minute hand moved to the 6, it was on the 12, okay, which meant this hour hand was already over here on the 6. Remember how I showed you that as the minute hand slowly makes its way around a clock, little by little, that hour hand moves off of the 6. So it was on the 6. It is not yet on the 7. So that time would be half past 6, meaning the minute hand is halfway around and it still was the 6. Okay, half past 6 o'clock is what that means. All right, so we are going to now go to your math workbook. So here's what you're going to need to do. First, turn to page 601. If you need to pause, go ahead, pause now, and then come back. All right, so this is where you need your red and blue crayon, okay? So what I'd like you to do with those crayons, okay, they ask us, trace the hour hand red. Think about what I've been telling you about the hour hand. That's right. We're going to trace this hour hand red. Then they would like us to trace, I don't have a dark blue, but we'll use this one. Trace the minute hand blue. All right, sure your blue's nicer than this. Okay, now they would like to know use your clock. All right, so I'd like you to take your little plastic clock, I'm trying to pick up here, and I'd like you to, now remember, unfortunately, our clocks don't line up with that. So your hour hand is blue, your minute hand is red, but we're following the directions here. All right, so what time is shown on the clock? Half past what? Remember what I said, where is the hour hand leaving? Half past 10, okay? Half past 10 is your answer. All right, we'll keep working on this. Okay, so now let's go to our See and Show. An analog clock can show time to the half hour. A half hour is 30 minutes. Helpful hint. The hour hand points between the 4 and the 5. The minute hand points to the 6. It is 4:30. Okay? Now notice here how they've counted. All right? On counting by fives, that's where they get the 30. All right? So the time is 4:30 or 4:30. Okay? O'clock is 12:30 is when it's on the 6th. All right, let us look. Now, you can use your clock at home to help you if you'd like, okay? You're going to tell what time is shown and write the time. Now, remember, this is something I can't say enough, and this might be where your clock or a clock would help. Let me show you. If your clock is showing, this is 9, well, I gave you the answer, 9:30, okay? And what I do is I like to go back up to the 12. It was on the 9, and it's coming off, and it's going down to 9:30. So you already know, because I told you the first answer, what you should write here. You can pause and do the next one, come back and check your answer. Okay, 9:30 and 1:30. So we're going to be practicing that a lot today with the lesson and when we meet for groups. All right, again, use your clock, tell what time is shown. All right, pause and answer the question now. 6:30 and 3:30. All right, here is, it is 8:30. Explain what 8:30 means. What happens when it's 8:30? That's right, the minute hand has gone around halfway and its 30 minutes has gone past, okay, or has gone halfway around the clock. Okay, so boys and girls, up until number 12, okay, they would like you to write the time that is shown, okay? So pause, come back and check. 10:30, 2:30. Okay, number 7 and 8. 5:30, 11:30. 9 and 10. 8:30, 7:30. 11 and 12. Pause and solve. 12:30 and 4:30. Okay, so let's do a little problem solving here, okay? Jen's class is leaving for a field trip to the zoo at 10 o'clock. All right, so take your clock and set it for 10 o'clock. So that means your hour hand is on the 10, okay? Your hour hand is on the 10, and your minute hand is on the 12. The class arrives at the zoo 30 minutes later. 30 minutes. So we're going to count, all right? I'm going to move mine. When I move it to the 1, it's 5. Okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Okay, so now it is 8:30 what? What time do they arrive at the zoo? Pause and solve it. 10:30, good job. Okay. Here we go. Nate will go to football practice at 4:30. Show this time on the clock. If practice lasts 1 hour, what time will it end? Now, let's practice. Let's do 4:30. Well, as we've said, we know the minute hand for 4:30 goes to the 6, correct? Okay. The hour hand is coming off the 4, but has not reached the 5. Oops, that's not quite long enough, but that's all right. All right, so there's your 4:30. Now, if it's 1 hour, that means this minute hand goes all the way around 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Goes 60 minutes. All right, so that means what time? It's 5:30. Let's see. 5:30, yes, because remember, when it moves an hour, it's just going one more. 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay? All right, let's look now. What is one difference between the minute hand and the hour hand? All right, think about it. Okay, so the big difference is the minute hand counts the minutes and the hour hand counts the hours. Now, let me type that. All right, the minute hand counts the minutes. The hour hand counts the hours. Now, I understand that you may have a different, different question in your book. All right, so tomorrow we will talk about that if you have a different right math problem, okay, on there. So we're going to leave it at that, all right? So if you have that, you won't have to, but if you don't, I have, because in my book it shows a different question, so that's why I say that. But that's the one, as far as I'm concerned, that's one big difference between the minute hand and the hour hand, okay? We will practice tomorrow some more on the hour and the half hour with our analog clocks, so make sure you have those with you, and I will see you in math proofs, boys and girls. Bye-bye.